Hi, my name is Justin Lara, and this is my presentation for a flight from Piedmont Triad International, Greensboro, North Carolina to Lynchburg Regional, Lynchburg, Virginia. On this trip, I am flying a PA-28 that just finished getting some maintenance done at Piedmont Triad back to the flight school I work at in Lynchburg. I am commercially rated to legally complete this flight for the business. A coworker will be flying me to Piedmont Triad to pick up the plane. We'll be departing Lynchburg at 9 a.m. It shouldn't take more than an hour to get there, and I expect to be back in the air for the return trip no later than 11. I have very limited experience in Charlie airspace such as Piedmont Triad, and I'm not familiar with the area. For my route, I decided to utilize Danville VOR to supplement my visual reference points. After passing the VOR, I will keep Highway 29 on my left until overflying it on my descent. I'll be on flight following to get out of the Charlie, and will just stay on flight following for the remainder of the flight. For the pre-flight process, I used a paved checklist along with other mnemonic devices to make sure I don't miss important components involved in planning a flight. The first letter P is for pilot. The I'm safe checklist helps to ensure I am okay to make the flight given multiple variables. I am not sick and haven't used any drugs or medications. I have some typical stress from work and school, but am not being affected by any out of the ordinary stressors. I have not had any drinks within 8 hours of flight and have no hangover side effects. I have had plenty of sleep recently and ate a full breakfast. I also brought some snacks to eat before the return flight. Some factors that may limit my proficiency for this flight include my limited experience in the PA-28 and in Charlie airspace. The second letter, A, stands for airplane. There are multiple checklists that must be completed to ensure the airplane is airworthy. The plane has all the required documents to include the airworthiness certificate, registration, operating handbooks, and weight and balance. All the maintenance to include the annual 100-hour transponder and ELT inspections have been completed. I am picking the plane up after maintenance, overhauled the engine, installed a new interior, and put in all new avionics. While I am always considering faulty equipment, since this work was just completed, I will be paying extra careful attention to any possible faulty equipment or maintenance errors. The plane has all the required equipment for both VFR day as prescribed by 91205. Again, I only have about 10 hours in this kind of aircraft, but am confident I could operate it safely. Also associated with aircraft is weight and balance. I'm starting the flight with 34 gallons of fuel filled to the tabs. I'm expecting to burn about 7.7 gallons of fuel at 10.3 gallons per hour. On board in the front seats is myself weighing 175 pounds and a bag weighing about 10 pounds. In the baggage compartment is a 10-pound box. With this weight and fuel burn, we are well within the envelope. Next is V for environment. There are multiple taxi notes to keep in mind for both airports. At Piedmont Triad, taxiway Delta 2 is closed and taxiway Hotel 4 hold position sign light is out of service. At Lynchburg, taxiway Hotel Golf Charlie and runway 1735 surface markings are faded. There are no known air traffic control delays. Piedmont Triad has 3 runways, all of which are playing along for the PA-28 to take off at 10,001, 9,001, and 6,380 feet. Lynchburg has 2 runways, all adequate for landing at 7,100 and 3,386 feet. Alternates that can be used are Rockingham, Danville, and Brookneal. Including the 7.7 gallons of fuel burned, 5 gallons for half hour of reserves, and additional 5 gallons for personal minimums, we need a minimum of 17.7 gallons. But we'll take off with plenty more at 34 gallons. A short field takeoff at Piedmont Triad with a density altitude of negative 605 and 20 flaps would require 800 feet for the ground roll and 1,600 feet to clear a 50-foot obstacle. For landing at Lynchburg with a density altitude of negative 581, we will need 790 feet for the ground roll and 1,800 feet to clear a 50-foot obstacle. Weather conditions don't get much better than this. It's a clear day with relatively calm winds and it's cool, which is better for engine and lift performance. These are the airport diagrams for both Piedmont Triad and Lynchburg. We got to make sure we watch out for hotspot number 1 over at Piedmont Triad. These are the chart supplements for both airports. There's nothing too out of the ordinary on either of them, but it's got good information for like frequencies and things like that. A major external pressure for the flight is I want to create a good impression for myself. After receiving my CFI rating, I am hoping to get hired by the school as a CFI. The only issues with this flight is my unfamiliarity with the Charlie airspace and the PA-28. However, the last couple times I flew into a Charlie, I handled it just fine. While I only have about 10 hours in a PA-28, all 10 are my most recently logged flights and all have been within the past few weeks. I have enough of an understanding of the avionics installed to safely conduct this flight under VFR. Other than that, the aircraft seems to be just fine, weather is perfect, and I'm in good shape to make this flight. I would confidently make a go decision for this flight scenario.